All right, welcome back. This is System of Systems, and this is Adam.
This is Ben.
And
This
boy,
is Alejandro.
yeah. I'm gonna do a full intro for you. Boy, oh boy, do we have a phenomenal guest with us tonight. He's an artist from Brooklyn.
Wow.
He's an IRL homeboy of mine. He's a party boy, a domestically violent sociopath who hates women, a based swaggot, a tender-hearted lover of women, a racist, a homophobe, a homo, a hypochondriac who can't get sick, das ubermensch, a Jew, and an anti-Semite, and the first person to ever do art ever, the stock.
That's
Alex
what
Beanstalk.
That's what I wrote for Adam to say, because I have a very specific way that I want to be approached and talked about. I would never let Adam control my destiny. So you can take that $20 and repeat that whenever you want. Thank you.
Just as long as we know who the quote gets attributed to.
You know, I believe in death of the author. You know, I'm actually fuck it. I'm the author. All right.
I believe in
Roland Barthes
death.
was gay.
Yeah.
He got hit by a car. That fucking sucks, bro.
I'm glad it happened.
Did he actually get hit by a car?
Yeah, he got hit by a car waiting for a lover.
Oh shit. Well, that's very French. Waiting for a lover.
Exactly.
Oh, oui, my poor heart.
No, I mean,
Yeah. A lover's
R.I.P.
song, a lover's fragment.
Yeah, R.I.P. Barbara Streisand.
Well, that's true. But why are we
dead.
here in general?
She's dead.
Oh yes. Barbara Streisand she's both.
Wait.
She's undead. She's dead,
Okay.
but she's alive.
She's a zombified homicidal maniac.
Yeah, and she's a Jew, and Jews never really die.
True.
Yeah,
I've heard that about Chinese people, but Jews, are you sure
No,
about
it's true.
that?
They rise from the ashes.
Mm.
Oh. All right. So we are here to talk about Alex's new book, which is fittingly, after our little bit of anti-Semitism here, fittingly titled "The Bitch Gave Me Jew Balls," which is actually the first publication on my new imprint, Safety Propaganda. People think I'm trying to be like a writer or an artist. I don't give a fuck about that. I want to be a tycoon and control the lives of other people. But I'm happy to put out my first project here, which is by my friend and a real genius of our times, Beanstalk.
Wow. That really doesn't mean a lot to me.
I know.
You know, guys, Adam is in full blackface right now. That's how my computer looks. He's like completely
true.
black.
Well, I mean, on the
He's
inside,
not
I
black.
always have
Unless I
been.
say he's not black. He's not black. He's not black unless I say he's black.
True.
All right.
Alex, is he black? Tell us.
Yeah, I feel like everybody's becoming black. Like it's like a meme now. Shit's like crazy.
Yeah, a lot of people I know are talking like the stereotypical whatever, like AAVE, what is it, African American vernacular English shit.
I do that too, but like I put my own Beanstockian like whimsy in it. I mean, that's quite some content right there, and I've dealt with that content for a long time. Like even my videos, I like crip walked in like a gallery, and like I always really, really loved black culture, and I grew up with a lot of black people. And it is wild. Like I like listening to what that is true, but I just don't fucking really know what to do about it. And it's just like I get it. Like that's why I get like kind of black supremacy and like black militancy, but at the same time, like I just want to be like friends. Yeah. But like I completely get it, because I mean they do kill it like in terms of like cultural capital.
I mean
I mean in some sense it's true. Like this like white man's degeneracy really did ruin the culture in a sense. You know? I see there's something question. There.
But I mean, because like I think Vincent Gallo had a really kind of base take on this recently. It's like if you look at like all the great like mainstream kind of music, more mainstream end of music, last 40 years or whatever, like up until like Wu-Tang Clan, it was so much better while still at the same time being
Adam, the internet's
Adam, you're cutting.
Hold on, I think.
Start over. Stop talking.
I know what's going on here.
Damn, he's really lagging.
Hey, Adam, start over.
You're lagging out. He's been having internet troubles recently. It happened in the last episode too.
That sucks. How are you gonna do a podcast and have internet issues?
Dude, I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes I think we should.
If someone's watching.
Yeah, I edit the podcast. So
okay.
I can.
All right, cool. He can edit all this stuff, right?
For sure.
Or you could just blast some Dead Reptile Shrine right in that, you know?
Dead Reptile Shrine is what it's all about, and that's kind of what that really brings me to my next point. I think we're good though. I don't think we lost any of the audio, right?
No, we didn't lose it. But your audio might be like choppy. You know, I'll just leave it in. It's like an edgy Adam edit, like a noise edit of Adam's voice.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be.
Yeah, fun. You can leave a little bit and keep it thin punk, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So Beanstalk, when did you start working on this book? And I don't know, do we really care about your process? Probably, because you're the greatest genius of our times and all that.
I appreciate that. I think what is kind of cool to say is that there were all these collected drawings that I was doing while I was working in an office. So they started off as something called office drawings, and I was also making videos, and I was like stealing my work's time to like make art. And or post art actually, because it was on the clock. It wasn't art, it was like work. And then I was just like, I could just put all this together with all the random stuff that I write online anyway, and it just makes like a really excellent fun book. And I mean, there's no narrative structure, but there's like little formal repetitions of certain ideas.
Yeah, no, it's a great story about you coming to terms with the fact that you're gay.
Yeah, but the thing is that I figured that all out once you published it. I was like, I finally found my boyfriend. You know what I mean?
Who's your boyfriend?
Like, Adam.
Publisher. Right. I'm a groomer. I groomed you, and now I groomed him.
Yeah. No, I would say Adam's been grooming me maybe since I was around like 12.
And I was like 11. Yeah.
No, like he used to slide into my my DMs, and fucking just hit me up with like the most weirdest, bogus, like horny texts. And I was like, I'll fuck with this,
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. Because it's true.
But anyway, about my genius and how I'm the best thing that's ever existed online for a long time, I'm really happy. Like, I feel like I always like been trending in a weird way. Like, I kind of go in and out of like all these different scenes. And it's been like that since I was like 18. Like, a lot of artists, like, they'll be in one thing and then that thing will die, but, like, they'll never be discovered by, like, another scene. And it's like all of a sudden this whole podcast world has been, like, playing with me. And it's like I get memed here and there, and it's like it's kind of crazy. It's like when someone in their 20s is, like, fucking around with someone in their 30s, like, not just sexually, even though that's, like, fine. I'm talking about, like, art-wise. Like, that's kind of dope, right? Because it's like, why should they give a fuck about you? Like, there's so much other cool shit going on. But, like, what I do is I copy a lot of them, but I still make it seem original so they like me. And then it's like I stay relevant in a way. You know, I feel like I'll never not be like relevant, because I'll always just kind of like steal whatever the cool thing is, because I'm a clout chaser.
Yeah, of course.
Is clout chasing essential for FinPunk?
Well, FinPunk like needs to strategize like how it makes its pennies, you know? So it's like, it's not like a pure thing. Like FinPunk is like the opposite of the idea of punk being pure.
Mm.
You know, like Alec Monopoly is like pretty FinPunk.
Yeah.
Mm.
You know?
And he fucks.
He gets down, you know, it's like where you don't really care about like art texts and like art world bullshit, and you just like find your platform to like make some money here and there in your art. Like instead of going for the big collectors, you just try to like group as many people as possible, like so you can get like, you know, your little $20 here or there.
Yeah. Well, and the thing with FinPunk, like, all right, we're going to use an example of a real big dog FinPunk. The reason the whole art world hates somebody like Stefan Simkowitz so much is because he's unabashedly FinPunk, you know, and then like, you know, and then like he's like, I'm going to buy a painting for $500, sell it for a couple grand. And that's what it's all about. I mean, but at the same time, he also has really good taste, whereas most dealers try to act like there's some kind of transcendent dimension to them being, you know, fucking like business dealing snobs.
I mean, that guy's really like polarizing and dialectical, and like some shit's good, some shit's bad. Like that's most interesting creative people are, you know? I mean, if you're going into a gallery and somebody's like, wow, this guy is a complete piece of shit, I'm kind of like, whoa, who's that guy? Like, let me find every article about him. Like, I get why he was like a thing.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, you know, I mean, he took advantage of the time, which is good. Like, I don't know. Yeah.
Do you, I mean, well, there's this like, there's the hatred matrix is what Lev from
I think I read a little bit about that. Yeah. I think like, that's why I really like the Michelle Kreber.
Yeah, he fucking rules, man. We talked about him on a recent episode.
Oh, really? Yeah, like I like artists where like they have like their fucking fiends that just like need that shit, or they're like, wow, that's just complete garbage. Like, you know, it's like drugs or something. Like, you know, the whole hate me or love me thing, that seems the right way to go most of the time.
Do you think that people will go into withdrawal from not having us in their dicks?
Well, I mean, you should actually see some of the messages I get. Like, it makes me feel great. Like, I could be an asshole and just be like, oh, wow, this fucking loser, like, just, like, masturbated to me or something. But I'm actually really grateful. You know what I mean? Like, I have that side of me where it's like, I kind of just think everything is gay and fake, you know? But then I have another side where it's like, wow, like, we really connected. I'm glad you, like, care. But, like, most of the time, I'm just like, yeah, I just want to do something more, like, fun than, like, talk about anything.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know. Like, I go back and forth, but, like, people are addicted to all this social media stuff. People are addicted to, like, art. And, like, what I'm interested in isn't even really, like, coded as art, I think. Like, I think I'm really into, like, what I sent you, like, even though it was a couple years old. Like, I think I was, like, pretty prophetic about this idea of, like, a post artist. But obviously, if anybody knows academic art history, it's, like, post art squared, because post art already happened by, like, Alan Camproud and shit. Yeah. But why mine is, like, funny and ironic and, like, gay is because it's, like, the double entendre of, like, post. Because it's like, yeah, it's art and you're just posting all the time. But it's also post as an after. And, like, people are just making shit all the time, and it has nothing to do with critique. It has nothing to do with, like, money or marketing, even though that's cool too. Like, people are just generally creating all the time, where, like, going to a museum seems, like, really lame. And, like, it seems like really old head. Like, if I go to a museum, I'm like, wow, like, I feel like I'm going to my grandpa's funeral kind of thing, you know? Like, I just rather see, like, a 2-second video online of, like, some girl being juxtaposed with like a dog head. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't really know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just, we're in a different time, really.
Yeah, I don't like art museums anymore. I just like archaeology museums and history museums. That shit is dope. But art museums, I don't really go.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't want to come off as like the arrogant kid that like knows everything or something. I'm not being like defiant for defiant purpose, like, oh, I'm a rebel. I just like legitimately am not stimulated by a lot of things. Like, I'm really stimulated like in my like 360 world of just like shit I see online and like directly posting my thoughts and like feeling like I'm creating like a Bible every day. And like seeing all these like weird groups spawn. And it's like the cool thing these days is to have like 5 likes and followers because like it's so fresh and like niche and like makes no sense yet. You know, it's like we're in a really, I think we're in a really fresh time. Like, I am interested in this idea of the vibe shift. Like, I like that scene. They kind of have been into me, so that's also why I like it. Like, I don't even really trust my own interests because I'm mostly just interested in things that are interested in me in like a parasocial way. You know what I mean? Like if like, I don't know, like if some like techno guys started getting into me, I'd be like, yo, I'm really into this stuff, you know? Like, I don't really have like a pure relationship to like aesthetics. Like, it's more of like a selfish, like what gang can I kind of like immerse myself into and like take over and then like dip, you know?
Yeah, and the way that we kind of emerged in the selectual sphere or whatever is like we're this kind of like peripheral totems to the whole thing. Like, they'll drop a meme about me and like, you know, whatever, my Asian women and, you know, like shit like that. And you know, but like we're not totally in it, which I think in the long term is going to be like healthier because this shit will ultimately be like probably be a flash in the pan, and then we're going to have to find new fucking scenes to take us in.
That's the thing. Everything is a flash in the pan, but what I've realized is that like you could be a whole kitchen and you can just be like flashing all the time on different pans. Like that's how I've survived as an artist, kind of. Like, not like breaking it into the major art world and I'm like showing at Marlboro, but like, you know, getting a press release at Marlboro, showing at fucking MX, like getting a weird meme spot on Instagram, getting a weird podcast, like really like just being a fucking octopussy and just like getting fucking like cunnilingus and analingus like every day. I feel like analingus.
Yeah,
you know, like I feel like I'm getting my pussy eaten like every day by like a Chinese.
You know, I've noticed our shit getting like, sometimes I'll post memes from Beyond Woke and Problematic on my like personal Instagram, and people will like that. Like my woke friends will follow this guy and like repost his stuff now, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening, dude? Like a little mushroom Wojak and shit.
Things are like, the thing is like I was like reading the like alt woke shit like years ago. I don't consider myself woke or alt woke. Like I don't believe in any of that. Like I really
believe in anything.
I'm like, it's not just as simple as like, oh, I am a nihilist, like nothing matters. It's that I'm circumstantialist. Like I'll move around whatever serves my purpose. Like if I'm in a crowd of like uber like serious political people, like I'll fucking spout, you know, Chomsky and Foucault or whatever. But like if I'm hanging out with like rednecks or like black supremacists, like I'll just like make fun of whitey all day. You know, like it's just like where it's like being smart, you know what I mean? It's like I'm not gonna stand in a crowd of Nazis and like start like doing like the chair dance, you know what I'm saying? Like like I'm gonna try to fit in. Like if I'm hanging out with a bunch of Nazis, like I'm gonna like talk shit on Jews because like they should be burned, you know what I'm saying? Like it's all it's all just like
that's like self-preservation though, you know?
Exactly.
Like if we're both of the persuasion. So like if I was in jail, for instance, I know that a guy who looks like I do in a fucking maximum security prison is getting my ass raped very quick, like during my, if I'm there for 10 years, it's like inevitable unless I hide my Judaism, which I hide anyways. And join the fucking brotherhood.
But dude, like the thing that's funny about Judaism is that it's already a crypto thing because it's pretty much an ideology.
It's not a universalizing religion.
We don't code as like anything,
Yeah, so it's just kind of like I'm basically into code switching and being like a kind of like chameleon to kind of like get my cummies out, like I just like I don't want to be a loser. And like even if I was like a loser, like I would be like, yo, I'm into loser core. Like I would just be really loud about it. Like, you know what I mean? Like
that's brilliant. Yeah.
That's just like my only philosophy really is that like however you're feeling, just kind of like be loud and like dramatic about it. I mean, I see no purpose in like being too partisan in anything. I just don't get it. Like that's what creates stupidity to me.
Yeah.
And maybe that's very John Lennon of me or something. And maybe I'll get shot by a deranged person. But like, I don't see the point of like teams or like having too many beliefs.
You know what how you are similar to John Lennon though? That you both like to smack around your women a little bit.
Yeah, but I've also had like beautiful moments with women.
And, so did he.
The thing is that I'm actually kind of like a mama's boy, and I'm like highly feminist, and I like anal and shit like done to me. Like I like girls to like put dildos in me. Like I'm very feminist, and like my misogyny is like pure vibe like comedy. Like I've never hurt a woman in my life physically, except by accident. No. But you know what I'm saying? Like they're all sisters to me. Like everybody is great. You know what I mean? Like my interest for years now, like I'm really interested in MGTOW purely for the comedy of like the desperation of these like loser men. Like if anybody truly knows me, like it's all just like post theory. I'm a very good man. I'm very moral actually.
Yeah.
Right? Adam?
Yeah.
I mean, at least that's what we want on air.
Yeah.
They don't need to know the depraved fucking rituals of sex and magic that we get up to in our spare time, Right. They're secret for a reason.
Yeah, we need like some like schizo freak to like do enough research to like spout some shit on lolcow and like, have cameras on us for that shit to get doxxed. Like nobody could really trust me. It's not that I'm a deep fake. It's that I'm like a deep real.
Yeah. Plus, we're the last, like, when you think about it, and Ben, you probably agree with this too, that we're like the last celebrities. So people are going to be on our fucking dicks no matter what because we're fucking famous as shit and rolling in money.
Dude, you want to know how much coke I did off a stripper's ass last night? No, I'm serious. I was hanging out with Artie Lang, and we were just fucking like, we didn't give a fuck.
That's how you got to do it.
I don't give no fucks, man, and I'll tell anybody that unless they seem like they could beat me up.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm pretty tough, like, online, but...
Yeah.
IRL, I'm a fucking fag kike loser.
Oh, man.
Dude, you look like a fucking criminal, man. I was like realizing that. Like you kind of have that look, like with the whole like the tattoos and the goatee, like the Van Dyke. Like I didn't realize that you were kind of going for like that like Mexican criminal look.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm a fucking cholo at heart.
I was gonna say,
dude, you're a Jewish cholo. You're a jolo.
You're a wigga. I'm a fucking wolo.
No, I'm a killer, a kike N-word.
Sorry, Ben. What were you saying?
No, a kiga. No, what was I gonna say? I was gonna say I'm like an Arab Jew. I'm very Jewish temperamentally.
Oh, okay.
But I'm an Arab. My dad is from Syria, so not Jewish. That one's not as funny though, so I didn't say it. You made me say it.
Oh, I didn't realize that we were all fucking lakas up in here. Fuck.
Well, he's saying he's only a...
No, I'm not. I'm not a laka. I'm spiritually a laka.
I thought you said...
I've been surrounded by Jews all my life.
I thought you said you're a Muslim Jew.
No, I'm not Muslim. I'm Christian Arab.
Oh, okay. So you're like Osama.
Yeah, basically. From the same area and everything.
What about Osama?
I think no doubt about it. Have you heard of Noor bin Laden, his like niece or something? Or his daughter?
Yeah, fucked it.
Yeah? Well, she's pretty base. She posts a lot online, you know. She posts like Amy Therese takes now. So like Bin Laden and Amy Therese are linked now. Like they're they've got a spiritual bond.
Whoa, that's wild.
Yeah, she's kind of like the Bin Laden of Twitter.
Dude, he was so fucking scared of Jews, man.
He was.
He was so scared of Jews. Like I really feel for him.
Yeah.
You know, like every time
they got him.
Like all of his writings that I've been reading. Seriously, like I'm really reading his writings, and he's just like he's deathly scared of Jews, and he's like the Crusaders.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like,
this is just you being ahead of the curve again, because we've already seen the Renaissance in Kaczynski. You're just leading the charge into the philosophical renaissance of one Osama bin Laden. I mean, when you think about it, it's the same principle. If you're allowed to like the writing of Kaczynski, you should also be allowed to find some intrigue in, dude.
Of course.
Fucking, I wonder what we would have to do to get like a podcast censor warnings, like the ones they throw out on Twitter. Probably not much. I don't know.
No, actually, they're quite free with the podcast. They haven't clamped down on that shit yet. They've been trying to, but it's coming. But how are they gonna like monitor all the hours of podcasts that are uploaded every day?
That's true.
There's no real way to like be like, oh, you can take this down from iTunes, Apple Podcasts, because you can just leave like 1-star reviews.
Yeah.
It's kind of based, actually. Podcasts are like, they're like the last free internet, I think.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, that's true. Dude, we should talk about how Instagram is like getting so PG-13, man.
Oh,
it's
that's true.
Like crazy.
Yeah. Well, you know, I was kicked off when I was still making art, like or like had aspirations to like show in libtard galleries and such. I got my Instagram taken down for having like vaginas and tits and penises in my work. But then this girl I know, she got me like, she reached out, she knew someone on Instagram and was like, yo, this guy is just making art. He's not a pornographer. And I think what happened, I'm shadow banned, but no matter how many violations I get, they never seem to fucking delete me, which proved to me that I was better than everyone else on the site, you know? Oh,
yeah. I mean, that's without a doubt. You know, like if you're still on Instagram, like you're better than everybody. Right?
I agree.
Yeah, because a lot of people don't really have like the hang. They can't stick through with it.
Yeah, speaking of Instagram, there was this girl who I knew in high school who posted on her Instagram story like, oh, I need like Venmo people to Venmo me please, because I just got like my shit like stolen by U-Haul or whatever.
Oh fuck.
And so I was like, all right, I'll Venmo her like $10 just because I haven't talked to her in a while, you know? And turns out like I checked the next day and she's like asking people to Venmo her about another thing. And I'm like, I've just been duped so hard. This bitch is just asking for Venmo every day. Something bad happens to her every day.
Man.
Like I was raped behind the subway station and I need $10 on Venmo. Can you send it to me? Kind of shit. Like it's like, man, what the fuck?
To this day, I've never been scammed, except for being born. I've never like nothing. I always outwitted everything. You know, like because I naturally like distrust people. Cause I'm like I grew up near the hood and shit, and like I know what's real in the field, and like I just believe in like hard work and like being a survivor and like proving your worth. Like I don't really give too many handouts, honestly, unless like I have a lot of empathy for you, or like I get a hand job from you or some shit. Like, you know,
that's poetry.
Then that's not a handout though. That's fair pay.
No, that's just poetry.
Yeah. Beanstalk. I think it'd be cool to talk about what were we talking about like a few weeks? Oh yeah. Because Zach and I still have like this lingering appreciation of beauty. Whereas you just like shit for the sheer aesthetic. Like you don't believe in a metaphysical dimension of beauty or sublime or whatever. Tell us what's wrong with beauty and why you think it's gay.
Oh, well, let me see if I could unravel this complex idea. I basically changed so much of what I think is interesting that I think it's just like all fashion. And like at the end of the day, like I just feel like I live in a cardboard box. And like I just don't care about like moments that people find beautiful. Like I don't think in that way.
Right.
Like I just like something either rubs me the right way, you know, like,
or doesn't rub you at all.
Yeah, and I'm just indifferent to a lot of things, but like the whole Kantian notion of like the sublime, you know, and like metaphysics, I'm more Humean actually.
Yeah.
And his idea of aesthetics was like beauty is like in the eye of the beholder and like perception, you know, it's less transcendental, and I think it's like, you know, postmodern constructionism. And like I don't believe in like objective beauty.
I just had this idea for this experimental film we could make in which you are like you're with a beautiful girl, like a high school sweetheart or something, but you know she's not beautiful because beauty doesn't exist, so like that concept doesn't exist in the context of the film, and you're in nature and you're overlooking a cliff under a tree. And she's going, oh, the sunrise is so beautiful. And you're like, shut up, bitch. Beauty doesn't exist. Let me eat that ass. And then like the last 10 minutes are you just performing analingus on it.
Well, that would be a good summation of like my life thus far.
Yeah.
And that just kind of like in it for the ass.
Yeah.
It's like I work hard for the ass. And maybe there's something very like Lacanian about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, I mean, I'm kind of fucking around, but like, you know, I've had moments where I was close to some sort of like ethereal notion of like bliss, but it seems too ephemeral to me to hold on to it.
Yeah.
So I really feel like I'm truly skitzed out, like in a real clinical way, in that nothing really sticks. Like I feel like my perceptions are snowflakes, and it just dries up and then it gets wet again. Dries up, gets wet again. It's like it's a lot like no, it's a lot like it's a lot like Adam's mom, like like when she's having a conversation with me.
Yeah, you guys would make such a cute couple. She talks about you all the time.
Did you like my towel head? My American towel head?
Yeah, I fucking loved it.
No, but I'm actually highly schooled in like scholarship, but I really decided to take a break from having an IQ. And that's another thing that's kind of trending that I started in 1987 was like this idea of like retard. We can talk about that. I like contain, and I like a lot of the like meme-ified concepts that come out of it and all the newer shit that it spawns, stuff like that. I mean, obviously he didn't invent that. I mean, he even talks about how, Lars von Trier and the idiots, and goes even farther back. I mean, the idea of like the fool who's like, or a clown that's smart, that has the wisdom, that's old.
Shakespeare.
Yeah, exactly. But you have to practice being stupid. And a big part of being stupid is like not worrying if somebody thinks you're stupid. And like every single day, like if you're at a job or you're with somebody or whatever, you're kind of challenged intellectually sometimes. And like you can feel like a moment of like, oh, I guess I'm not as smart as that guy because like I forgot to use a stapler or something. Like dumb shit like that. But if you're kind of like, you know what, like who the fuck cares? Like what do I have to prove intellectually? Like, I like that. And I like art that comes out of that, too. Like, where you're just not really trying to prove anything intellectually. And unfortunately, I don't like a lot of philosophy because it seems like an intellectual, like, pissing contest. Like, it is kind of cool to try to see philosophy kind of, like, retarding itself. And, of course, like, you have to work your way down from already being up because I am actually, like, highly educated and erudite. And I could like impress any like dude's mom to like fuck them. You know what I'm saying? But like I learned how to just like be like a dumb fat fuck and like just be like way more based. Like I want to be a base swaggot and just like do crack like off of like some homeless titties. It's like nothing fucking matters to me except making money and like proving to people that I'm better than them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I respect.
This is such a great, like, Ben, I think you should ask Beanstalk, like, about his practice, but from the theological perspective, and see how this can work out that way.
Yeah, don't be scared to, like, flaunt your skills.
No, I'm not looking to flaunt my skills right now. I'm too high.
All right.
You're driving me nuts, Beanstalk.
All right.
Would you say that your art emanates, like Plotinus described, it emanates from the monad? Your art is shaped by the intelligible reality of forms, and then you channel the forms into the physical practice of shaping, of making the video, of posting the meme. Do you think there's anything there? Do you think Plotinus was right?
I feel, like when we're getting into like the spiritual side of things where like things can't really be understood, it's just like, where do things come from? Like, where does concepts come from? Where does energy and pressurized creation come from? Like where like people have been thinking about this forever. And like, why do some people gravitate, like birds to bread? And like other people, they're just like losers in their basement. No one gives a fuck. Like, where does this come from? Like, how do we explain this? And at the end of the day, like, I don't give a shit, Like, I don't care about Freud. I don't care about Lacan. I don't care about French theory. Like, I'm done overanalyzing. Like, when somebody does something and like their family member starts overanalyzing it, and it's like, well, actually, it's because her dad, blah blah blah. It's like, you're probably just like making all this shit up, and like just leave it alone. Let weird things happen and like figure it out. Like I just don't think trying to understand things has like even really gotten us anywhere. And I think that's like a common like contemporary like issue that we're all dealing with actually.
Yeah, the collapse of reason. Because I don't know.
Beanstalk. What race of homeless person's titties do you like to snort coke off of?
Oh, that's
what
a
race
good question.
Is the best?
That's the juicy shit.
Sorry, I was just wondering when you mentioned that.
Probably Spanish.
Nice.
I have like a really I mean, I love everybody, but I have a real connection with Spanish women.
Nice. Like from Spain or just Hispanic women in general?
Just Hispanic women.
Yeah. Nice.
And like my dad does too. And I don't know.
Is that why your dad takes Viagra?
Yeah, my dad takes Viagra like in his 80s. You know what I'm saying? Like he still pops a nut sometimes, and he's like, my doctor, like my doctor said I never would. And you know, and it's like he's always like, you know, women's body is the most beautiful thing. You know, he's like one of those like creepy old guys, but like I love him to death. You know what I mean? And like a lot of old guys become that, you know, they're like squeezing their nurse's ass and shit. Like they're so like their life is like so almost done that like all they're living for is like to squeeze a tit. And it's like I don't like women don't really become that way. It seems like it's really out there.
No,
like,
they become more caring and loving.
Well, it's like, I mean, I think about gender and like, you know, like all my jokes and like sense of humor and like brashness and crassness is actually really coming from like theoretical backgrounds. Yeah. See how I like can code switch that way? Yeah. And I'm actually like highly interested in like gender roles and like gender formation and like gender differences. And, you know, it's just how do we get rid of like the crazy horny male? Like we never will. We just have to deal with it, you know, and like there's crazy horny women too. And I've dealt with that plenty.
Oh yeah, you have.
Yeah. You know, and it's like, listen, I get it.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, at the end of the day, I can't essentialize anything. I believe we're all individuals. Yeah. But I think creating tribes is like good humor. You know, like you didn't have some racist humor here or there, or like some, you know, some sexist humor here and there. Like, what the fuck would you be? Like, it's just so boring. But but I'm not like that personally, but I'm interested in that in like content. And that's what I want people to always realize. Like, I don't even know if I'm accused of being ever an edgelord. Like, I've actually never truly been canceled, which is really weird. Like, all types of people love me, but I just say the most craziest shit sometimes, even publicly. Like, I've said crazy shit. Maybe I've been screenshot like once or twice with some bitch like going off, but like, I don't know, like people find my shit funny and like emancipatory and freeing, and I don't get the kind of like, wow, that's a bad dude vibe, because I've never actually physically hurt somebody. I'm actually a very caring person, and I could really distance myself. I'm really post-ironic in that way.
Yeah.
And not everybody can do it. Not everybody can do that.
I got a great story about horny old men that I'm gonna do it for the first time in public on air right now. This has to do with my late grandfather. He was at the time about 70 years old, big fat Jewish Hungarian man, communist, but like a communist aristocrat, like petty bouge, small business owner. Thank you for that, Papa.
Yeah.
Okay, so him and my dad were in New Orleans because my dad worked for my grandfather on some business trip, and they were going through this period where they were trying to reconnect, and they were at a bar, and my Papa was like the horniest bastard ever. Like, after he passed, I found out that I had family members that I didn't know about from him fucking around so much. And so they were at this bar, and my dad went to the bathroom at one point. My Papa's shit-faced already. My dad comes back, and he finds my Papa, Billy, chatting up these two ladies at the bar. My dad immediately pinpointed them through their broad shoulders and their Adam's apples as transgender women.
I have a crazier story after this.
All right, well, you can outdo me after. So
it's similar.
All right. So my dad is like, Dad, to my papa, Dad, these are, this is like the early 90s, so they weren't saying transgender yet. My dad was just like, these are trannies or whatever, So
pre-woke, proto-woke.
Yeah, proto-woke. So my papa was like, and then my papa, because he was like really belligerent too, especially when he drank. He was like, oh, fuck you, Chipper. You just don't think your old man can get pussy anymore. Fuck you.
Wow.
And then he left the bar with one of the women. And my dad at that point was pissed at him. So he's just like, fuck it, let it happen. My dad was at the hotel room and he woke up at about 5 a.m. to my grandfather in a bathrobe, just sobbing just crying, with everything he had inside of him, just so emotional. And my dad's like, Dad, what the fuck is wrong with you? And he goes, oh, Chip, I got my cock sucked by a guy. Oh, his cock was huge and he sucked my cock. Oh.
Wow.
And then they drove home together. My papa was like crying every 5 minutes.
Dude, shit like that happened a lot. Something similar happened to my dad and his friend. Like the first time they lost virginity, they found out was like from a trans person.
Hell yeah.
They fucked the cut off dick. Like they fucked the bussy shit. You know what I mean? No, and they found out later. And my dad,
vagina.
Yeah, my dad doesn't care. And by the way, on record, and we don't have to go far into this. I'm pro whatever the fuck people want to be. I'm so open that I'm closed.
Yeah.
But
always.
I just thought that was really funny, and I think that shit kind of happened a lot to people, especially when they were cruising for people. It was less out of the closet.
Yeah.
People were less comfortable about fucking bringing it up, obviously, because they could get fucking knifed. But the hornification of everything is interesting. That's a wild ride. Is that social media instantly became a place for people just to thirst trap. And how does a man truly thirst trap? I don't think it's about showing muscles. Most women think that kind of manly thirst trapping is kind of lame. Yeah. It's about exuding a loud personality sort of, and or being interesting and having something to say. Yeah. I mean, totally. Men are way more simple, right? They're just whoa, some bouncing tits and cool shoes. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, that it is kind of unfortunate that men are way dumber in that way. Where women are actually kind of I'm not trying to be ultra reductionist, but I actually do believe women are more naturally interested in less shallow things. They'd be pissed if you have a micro cock or you're a huge obese fat guy. But I think they're way more forgiving when guys are just they're just obsessed with really disgusting things, and you can disgust yourself. I think every man has felt disgusted by themselves. Definitely. But I feel it's best to kind of make humor out of it and to explore it than kind of feel bad about it.
Yeah. Well, I think people just don't know how. If you're going to use the web, you got to do it right. The way I think about it is that it's me, but it's also a projected image of me, which means I can idealize it or shape it however I want. So I'm going to show people the most base sort of fascinating version of myself.
Right.
So so the product that I put out has a certain allure that's tainted with me. I'm not going to show them the things that I'm ashamed about. I'm not going to be when I used to work day jobs, I used to jerk off in the bathroom when I was upset or nervous. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, I used to cyber with girls in sex while I was at work in my office. Actually I can't even talk about this shit. That's just all I'll say.
Whoa.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Damn, you had a pretty lenient work if you were drawing cartoons and watching cams, you know.
We probably shouldn't talk too much about this,
Sure.
but I worked by myself in an office. Like, people would come up and hang out. Like, I always did great. I never fucked up. I made money for my boss. Everything was cool. But it was, like, my place. And, like, a lot of cool shit happened without much shame. And
our style.
Yeah. And, like, I made, like, really cool I made this video called Cringe in Theory. And there's a lot of, like, Instagram performances that are, like, older that, like, you know, like, I go back doing this kind of shit for, like, years by now. But I've made, like, compilation videos, and I used to freestyle a lot. It was when I was first really getting into freestyling and just being really humorous. And it was, like, this guy in, like, the most boring office clothes just, like, freestyling in the office. And, like, people were into it. And it was, like, I was very lucky to have a situation where you can be creative at, like, a kind of monotonous, like, 9-to-5 job.
Yeah.
But that's where a lot of those drawings came from. And I'm kind of, like, done with that series. I'm done with that style. I'm on to really new things. Like, I was so excited about this book. And if you're listening, you should definitely buy it. Hit me up on Instagram. Hit up Adam when he does his store. I mean,
e-commerce website coming out.
I'm almost sold out, honestly, man. I have, like, maybe, like, 17 left or something. I'm so psyched about that. And it's the end. It feels finalized in a way. I want to work on something that's really different. And I was just able to close a chapter. You know, I'm not trying to just do, like, 3-minute drawings right now. Even though I love that shit, like, I think a lot of that is, like, really expressive, really funny, really out there. Like, I just want to get into new territory that may get, like, more epic or something. But, like, what's cool about putting it into a book with words and a title is, like, you know, one page becomes 100, and it's not just, like, you know, a drawing for your refrigerator anymore. So, like, that's what's cool about books.
Yeah. What are Jew balls?
So Jew balls was really just a play on the term blue balls, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, like, using the word Jew is funny to me. And I made that drawing title. And I love this idea of this, like, gigantic, like, stereotypical, like, crooked Jew nose as, like, a dick. And everybody, and I have said it, and, like, they're like, what the fuck is Jew balls? And in my head, I'm like, whoa, is that, like, matzo balls? Like, is that, like, some, like, Woody Allen, like, neurotic shit? Like, did my mom give me Jew balls? Like, what are Jew balls exactly?
Yeah, it is a very evocative term.
It is evocative. I'm a very evocative, like, genius kind of person. And like everything I say, like, there's, like, a gigantic wave of, like, praise. And like, my press list is, like, insane. And, like, I feel like I'm the Tekashi 69 of, like, the art world. Like, I'm just killing it so hard. Like, so many girls in my DMs. Like,
a lot of bodies in your backyard. I mean, you're one of the most prolific murderers in the art world.
Well, you know, if you don't shut your fucking mouth, you're gonna be the first one. No, but you know, we got a good thing going. I'm real excited to be here, everybody.
It's an hour into the episode.
Yeah, I know. It's going fucking great.
Are you guys feeling good?
Yeah, this is the best episode we've ever done because
I know that.
Yeah, because we have.
Well, you know, the funniest thing is, you know, I started out maybe a couple years ago, like, yo, I'm gonna do this, like, faux arrogance thing where, like, I'm just, like, always, like, the best and like the genius, like kind of just, like, go over the top, like, always manic. And then it's like people actually start getting into it. And I was like, I, like, made some, like, memes and shit where it's just like, I'm the best artist in New York. Like, no one's better than me. Like, if you're next to me, you realize I'm, like, more high valued than you. And, like, the first instinct from most people would be like, dude, don't say shit like that. Like, people will hate you. But everybody's like, yo, you're pretty right, man. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, did I just discover, like, the most craziest reverse psychology in the world?
Yeah.
You know, it's really weird. That's why like people have been like, "Yo, you're a little like Trump-esque or some shit," and it's like, oh, but it's
What's
like,
up, babe? Oh, my bad.
What'd you say?
I'm twitching.
Okay. But like, it's interesting. Like, if you, it's weird if you put out that vibe, like it catches on. It's a very real thing. I've actually heard that there's a little bit of like a gender prejudice actually that it's harder for women to do that. Like that if women are kind of constantly like arrogant, then they're kind of like, oh, what a bitch. But if a man is always arrogant, they're like, oh, he has confidence.
Well, that could be because when a man does it, it's the truth. And when a woman does it, we all know it's a lie.
Well, girls are fucking liars. No, I'm just kidding. Exactly. I don't want to get into this. Fuck you.
But you know what else? You know what's cool about this episode is that we could look back on it from like 5 years from now
and be embarrassed. No,
hell no. All right, so like,
I'm just kidding.
If you're living in the 70s and podcasts are invented, I mean, the person who has like Jim Jones on their podcast gets to tell that whole story about, wow, Jim Jones is on my podcast. I never knew what he was going to do. And there's just like so much possibility here. Like, we have the greatest artist of our lifetime, but also a guy who's capable of so much violence and degradation.
Right.
Yeah, you know, so much violence that Beanstalk, don't take this the wrong way, but you remind me a little bit of Private Pile, the fucking Vincent D'Onofrio character from Full Metal Jacket.
Oh,
vibe.
Dude.
The vibe, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Also, I've gotten like the retard guy that Billy Bob Thornton plays, like Sling Blade. I've gotten like the gay guy in Mean Girls. You know, in my thinner days, I didn't get shit like that as much. But I'm happy to just have like the like chubby retard kind of vibe because I'm still like I still have like a cute face. And I still get my balls washed by your mom's tongue.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like, I just, like, keep it real 100. You know, I don't give no fucks, and everybody know that.
Yeah. Ben, mm-hmm. what celebrity, which ones do you get? Celebrity?
I get Timothy Chalamet sometimes, and I don't understand that one at all because that motherfucker has, like, a tiny little nose. I have, like, a massive fucking, when I smile, my nose becomes very, like, it's almost like, you know, African kind of shit.
Dude, man.
Thank you.
You're a cute dude. Like I would definitely pimp you out, like for like my gay friends.
No, dude. I'm not kidding you. I've gotten several offers from older gay men, like serious shit. Like they'll DM me, like fucking like, dude, on Instagram sometimes.
Dude, so I would pimp that little snowflake asshole fucking every day.
I understand that sentiment because I'm like, sometimes I'm like, should I capitalize on this shit? Should I really fucking like go fin punk on these motherfuckers?
Fin punk that like twink like majesty.
Yeah, no, dude, I already on Twitter I would get like all these like fucking guys were like, look, hey, what's up? Are you up, baby? Like this kind of thing. I'm like, dude, I'm not, but I could be really rich if I really went through with this whole act. You know?
But you don't want to be rich. You want to be poor. I could tell by looking at you.
True. I do want to be poor.
I'm just kidding.
Fin twunk, baby. Yeah, so
you guys want to talk any more? Or like, are we fucking done here? Like,
we're still riffing. I wanted to say something.
Do you got to get going?
No, I'm just kidding.
I wanted to say.
I'm gonna get a cigarette. Cigarette. Give me a moment.
All right. Yeah, go for it. How you feeling from the surgery?
Much better. My gums still kind of hurt, but it's not as bad. And I ran out of painkillers, so I have to subsist on weed. Dude, this shit made me want to smoke weed, and I've been doing it. It's not good. I'm kind of addicted, I think.
To the pills?
Yeah, like I'm having withdrawals.
For reals?
Little bit. I think so.
Oh, shit. Damn. Yeah, that was the thing with like when they used to prescribe everybody opiates. They'd be like, "Here, take 35 of these a day, and then stop taking them after 5 days, and see what happens."
Yeah, I'm convinced that shit was opiates.
I have a selfish question to ask.
Yeah, what do you want?
So, like, what do you actually think of my shit? Like, what do you think? Like, what do you think's going on? Is it gay?
It's sexually fluid. I wouldn't say it's gay. It's like to me, you know, in my capacity as the most brilliant cultural critic of my generation, it seems to me a man really at war with a lot of urges to eat out men's assholes. That's like, I mean, that if I had to write like an essay about your work, I'd be like, you know, this shit really blew me away because it's saying all this stuff, but what it screams, that this guy wants his best homies to tongue down his fucking asshole.
That's so true. It's like you really read it, man. That's wild.
Were these urges something you've always felt, or something that you only developed after being online and talking to like Adam and stuff?
No,
getting
like
groomed.
I mean, Adam was someone that I like intentionally groomed me, because I liked the way he looked. And
so you really groomed him in a sense.
Yeah. Like it was, again, like I'm really good at that, right? Like reverse psychology kind of thing. And like he didn't realize.
He lets me think that I'm like the leader of the crew just so he can violate me later on.
Right. Like that's sort of what I do with men that I end up sleeping with, like Adam. Is that like like I'll make them think that they're grooming me, but yeah, like I'm the predator, and I've been doing it for a long time, and I just hope nobody finds out. So I'm glad we're having this completely confidential conversation.
Yeah. Well, you operate from like you thrive in like the capo position because you have like enough power to wield it, but you also are like out of the limelight enough to evade capture, which allows you to eat everyone's asshole. Not just not just like who you want to.
No, it's true. And like my biggest like almost Douglas Hubler-esque conceptual work is that like I want to eat like everybody's asshole in the whole world. You know what I'm saying? Like as a conceptual artist. And like that's kind of what I'm doing like online with my art. Like I'm like, oh, do you think we can like meet up? So like something, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, I'm totally fucking around. This shit could like get me real fucked up.
Yeah, we're going for it right now.
No, I'm just fucking around. Everybody, if you're listening, all 5 listeners, really nice, square, 9 to 5, chill dude. I got I spent like 3 nights in jail. That's it. Never hurt nobody.
What were you arrested for?
Dumb shit. Shoplifting and like just jumping a turnstile and running from the cop.
You ever been arrested, Ben?
No, I've never even been pulled over. Like not once have I even gotten into an accident or anything. I'm convinced I've got some guardian angel type shit coming on, but I'm worried it's gonna come crashing down and I'm like 25.
No, it's like I was like, if we want to get a little biographical, since like I'm already being like historically contextualized as like a really important artist, like I definitely had like a really messy, you know, like teens and 20s. Like I was all over the place and like diagnosed with shit and like having problems, but I feel like I'm figuring stuff out almost quicker than a lot of other people now. And like I sharpened my executive functioning.
Yeah.
And I can manage like anything. I'm really strong emotionally. I really like solved a lot of my own problems, plus like my trust fund. Like,
yeah. You know, you're also, I mean, you're such a great lover. You're such a great fighter. You're such a great, I mean, you just really, you've really got it going on in a way that mere men will never be able to access. You know what's
big
crazy
is Stock's cock, Adam?
What's that?
Who,
How
mine?
big is it? Yeah, how big is Stock's cock, dude?
Oh, dude.
Oh, it's
I mean,
14 inches, but like 17 inches wide. So it looks fucked up.
Well, it fluctuates, like, depending, like, the size of the mouth on it. Like,
It's a rhombus.
It looks like that dinosaur in Jurassic Park, the one who like flares out its wings before it spits poison. That's exactly what it looks like.
Cock size is like, I feel like cock size is something that all men kind of like get through. Like, it's interesting. Like, you know, like every guy like will look in the mirror and be like, does my cock look okay today? Like, my cock's fine, right? Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
it's interesting thinking about cocks, and like, I think cocks are important to just be like really just like content with and just like love your penis.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what.
I used to worry about it until I had a growth spurt and got huge. Now I don't worry about it at all.
No, I mean, I know you're packing heat because I saw it in like my mouth.
Yeah.
But you know, like I'm a little above average, and I've always like, you know, I've kept women around for like more than like a night, you know, one night. So it's like I'm fine with it. But I feel like no matter what your size is, like dudes always like are thinking about their cocks, just like how like women or people are always thinking about their like weight. And you know, a big part of like my philosophy as like a kind of post-cringe enthusiast is like kind of like libtardy like acceptance and embracing of like whatever the fuck you are.
Yeah.
Even if that's like a terrible person or whatever. And most days I'm pretty fucking happy with like whoever the fuck I am in like every way I am, and like that's why I really like the hyperbolicness of just like saying that you're the best at everything. Yeah. And it's like, it's weird because it's hyperstition, man. Like, dude, you know, when you have 4 followers, you're like, oh, is my cock small? But then you have like 5,000 followers and like, yo, I'm fucking like giving this bitch mad orgasms. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, it's a wave, and it's like, you see how relative it all is. You know, that like dysmorphia of any sort is just based on like weird perception. Yeah. And if you're just really into yourself and like fine with whatever, people read that and they're like, well, I'm fine with whatever too. Yeah. I mean,
I like that.
That's how I feel about that stuff.
Yeah. It's like when I became, like, people at first didn't want me to be a cholo, but then I was just like all the time, I'm like, look at me. I look like the crazy killer from around the block, and I ride a fucking lowrider, and now they all have to like acknowledge me as a cholo.
The thing is you have to start liking attention. You don't like, because like some people, it's like, even if they just get like a haircut, they're like embarrassed to go to school just because like people are gonna say nice haircut. Like you just have to like be used to like all eyes on you if you want to be an extroverted person. And many times an artist has to be somewhat a little extroverted. Yeah, there's like the whole mythology of the introverted like loser or whatever that like gets made fucking years later. But I don't want to die that way. I want to sell things. I want people to notice me. I want DMs saying that I changed their lives, which I do get. And I'm proud of it. And anybody, if you are listening and you respect what I do, I wholeheartedly, non-post-ironically appreciate it.
I agree, man. I hear these people talking all the time these days about how a lot of artists like to pretend like they don't love being like lavished with attention, but it's just not in my experience. Even the people who say that, like, if anything, they're the ones who want it the most. They're just like bad at getting it. Yeah. Ben, what's your take on this? Because I feel like you probably have a different one.
Honestly, I think that I'm a fan of humility for the most part. I like when people are not too outspoken about their own virtues. I mean, I understand, you know, you guys are city slickers, so that's how you think of things, you know. And of course, you're of the small hat persuasion, so you're always thinking of the collection, the usury, the collecting the fees, you know, that kind of stuff. Yeah, like bank processing. I get it.
But dude, you really can't essentialize that unless you're saying that Jews started it. Because look at the Chinese. Look at fucking hood rich black people. Yeah. Look at fucking, like, everybody wants to be on top, and like denying that will just keep you on the bottom. And like, I'm a top. You know what I mean? And that. Like, self-degradation and deprecation, that's only used to like gain love anyway.
Yeah, so, I don't like that shit. I don't like I like silence. I like when somebody's just like shuts the fuck up about themselves. I like, you know, it's just like fun. You know, but I don't disrespect when people are self-aggrandizing. In fact, I think it suits, you know, if it suits the work they're making, if their work is good enough and they're bragging about it, go ahead. Like that, you earn that right, kind of shit. Well, you know,
Ben, like, eventually you're gonna be recruited into our. I mean, you kind of already are. You're gonna be recruited into our counterintelligence apparatus, of which home base is run out of here in New York. Ooh. And you know, there's gonna be bigger pastures. Like, you're gonna be moving from where you're at. And all of a sudden you're going to be here and you're going to just like realize, holy shit, I'm in the presence of the greatest of the fucking greats. That must mean that I got the biggest dick in the game. And you'll be right. And you'll be like, you'll get the brand. There'll be a ceremony. There'll be blood drawn. And you'll
eat the babies. You'll wear the little hat. You know, you'll
get the circumcision, get the foreskin.
Yeah, you'll be a part of the tribe of, you know, the winners in life.
Yeah. So, the winners in history too, evidently. God damn, you guys did real good, dude.
In a way, you know, I mean, everybody's trying to say we run the world. So, I mean, if that's true, then
embrace it.
Take it from us, bitch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I wanted to talk about the book. One more thing, though, because I've never.
By the way, I don't identify as Jewish. All right, yeah,
but I do. So
I wanted to. Okay, so there's this motherfucker named Tom Otterness. Do you know this guy?
Who killed the dog?
Yeah. All right. So I think. I like when artists do like really transgressive stuff. I love like creating a spectacle, all that shit, actionists, fucking Vito Asanti, whatever. But when I heard about Tom Otterness, who's got like sculptures all over the subways that he killed a dog, that fucked me up. And I was just like, I don't know. I couldn't wrap my head around it. Like, if I ever had like the desire to cancel someone, it would be Tom Otterness.
Dude, the thing is like, I'm pretty fucking base. Like, you fucking eat chicken. You fucking stomp out ants. Like, oh, because a dog is cute, they fucking matter. Like, listen, I'm not saying what he did was right, but if he was doing it for some kind of like raising awareness of how like hypocritical like pretty much all life is, then like I get it. Like, either be a fucking Zen Buddhist loser or like embrace that you fucking kill things. I don't know. Like, I'm not trying to sound cold-hearted, but you are. You're the first murderer we've had on SOS. No, it's just like when you're fucking eating that Big Mac or like that like Vietnamese fucking chicken or whatever with the hot sauce, like just realize like that you're doing the same shit, but you don't put it on a leash and give it a name and fucking take pictures of it. Like, you know what I mean? So it's just like, you're the one creating the hierarchy. You're the one creating the fucking caste system of the animal species.
Well, maybe that's... Maybe
so what the fuck do you want to do about it, bitch? You know?
Yeah. You know, one time, this sounds like one time on Twitter, you know, there was some discussion about abortion, and one guy said like, oh, buying like a pair of shoes is like less unethical than like getting an abortion. And I was like, God damn, man, this is literally the same kind of thing. It's like, dude, if you think about the shoes, you know, that rubber was like mined and like harvested from baby skin. Like, if you think about the laces, where do they come from, dude? That's fucking elephant tail wrapped up really tight.
I mean, it's like, listen, I've thought
everything is unethical, you know?
I've thought
kill a dog, kill an ant, fucking same thing.
Exactly. I mean, that's why, like, philosophically, I'm a little kind of like, you know, what they call anti-humanism. Yeah. Where it's not that I'm anti-human. It's that the sort of natural right discourse or rhetoric, you know, is a made up thing that's in itself a militant kind of prejudice. Yeah. And it's like, if you want to live, you got to fight. I mean, that's it.
Yeah. I mean, it's really easy for me, you know, because mad motherfuckers step two. Yeah. They're like, damn, I want to fuck this cholo up right now. And I'd be like, try it, bitch.
How does Michelle feel about you being a cholo? Were you a cholo before the relationship started?
She fucking loves it. I'm like the first white guy she ever dated.
Nice. Based, and you took the booty. You got it,
dude. Adam's like the first like cool white guy.
Lives matter. Yeah.
No, he's like the first cool white guy, I feel. Yeah. Like, yeah. Because it's not cool to be white, you know? We all know that, anymore. Right?
Yeah. Well, I'm a person of color, actually, so.
So am I. I'm fucking white. That's a color.
That's right. That's right. It's all colors at once, or none of the colors.
Yeah, let's talk about
the rainbow.
Let's do like 15 minutes. How the hell are you and I, Beanstalk, gonna circumvent society? And Ben, when you move here, how are we gonna? Yeah. Because I want people to know that like I'm not just like I am entirely self-interested. I don't want people to think that I'm just doing this show and like all these projects and like some of the greatest writing that's ever been done just to be like, just to be a regular schmo. I want to create, I want to have power. But there's all these like systems of control now, and we just got announced in New York that de Blasio's like some super totalitarian measure.
Vax pass.
Yeah, Vax pass. Now, I got a vaccine because I had a lapse in strength, and I wanted to go to the gym without a mask on. But that's not the point. The problem is, if we're going to emerge as the dominant force of culture and society and take our rightful place as its rulers, then we need to strategize. So we might as well start here.
You know, I think the best way to do it from here on out is like a psyop. We do an information infiltration operation, and we start normalizing transracialism. I think that's the next step forward. Because, like, you know how you guys told the stories of your dads and your grandpas, you know, having sex with trannies, right?
Yeah.
In 20 years, bro, it's gonna be transracials. You're gonna think you're fucking a black woman, and then boom, you're in the bedroom. That's a white asshole, and you're like, oh shit. That's not a black woman, dude. That's a white woman, and you're gonna be traumatized from that shit. You know, like me as a grandpa is gonna have that story of me like crying after I'm like, oh, it wasn't the race I thought, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Probably.
That shit, like once the racial stratification begins and we start having the race war, it's gonna be like a sin to have like a sex with a person from another race, and that's how we're gonna subvert the hegemony, dude. That's how we're gonna reintegrate. You know,
I think
after
right.
the segregation
because
happens
the whole
again.
thing like collapses contradictions, because all like everybody like basically knows that race is not a thing. It doesn't really exist, but they also will also get infuriated about transracialism. So the best way to collapse those contradictions is for me to become the base cholo publishing god that I've always been anyways. Beanstalk. Hit us with your take.
I was at a barber once and a Cuban guy was cutting my hair and he was wearing a Jewish star. And I was like, what's up with that? Like, you Jewish? And he's like, I called myself Jewish one day and I put this star on me.
Dude, that's such a Cuban thing.
It's not the exact same thing, but like, I see no purpose of really keeping race relative to color, because it's like nobody is truly white and nobody is truly black. Like, if we're going to actually be literal, people are all different colors. And racism has a lot more to do with the sun than anything, you know, because the sun created what color you are. And there's no real value inherent in that. The thing that people were fucked up about is like, oh, well, this guy could wear dreads and it's fine, but if this guy wears dreads, he gets fired. So it's like, it wasn't the dreads that was the problem. It was who gets to have the dreads. And it's like, fuck ownership of anything. Fuck ownership of identity. I'm pretty like post-identity. I think you can call yourself whatever the fuck you want. I just don't care that much. And that's why I make a lot of humor and content about it. And also because it actually does make people feel weird to talk about it too much.
Yeah.
But it's like, I'm just like tired of beating around the bush and like people pretending that there's like no elephant in the room, or like, I don't know. It's just like, it doesn't fucking matter. And it's like, I may have had family members that were like slaughtered somewhere, but like, I'm not going to care. Like, I just don't fucking care. Like, I care about now. I care about the relationships I have with people. And I just don't care about like the suffering of like history. Like, I just, even if it's like some scientific thing with some like passed down trauma. I mean, there's all sorts of fucking research that people are trying to do to like prove that they like deserve more than somebody else because of their history. Like, I just don't fucking care. Like, get over whatever bullshit's in your head. Try your hardest. Huh?
I just had this fucking thought that maybe, you know, Bataille talks about the solar anus, and if the sun created the pigmentations in our skin, then maybe racism itself is the solar anus. Maybe it's the excess that we need to like expel, and the best way to like not make that into like a malignant force in society is to expel that energy in a way that's like joyous and libidinal and Dionysian. So what we have to do is just have big like racist parties all the time.
I love anti-white humor. Like, I love anti-Jew humor. I love anti-male humor. Like, I think if people were just sort of, it's not just about sensitivity. It's just like, lose yourself and like, don't feel offended by shit. And just like, it's like, I could tell Adam that I fuck his mom, and he can say that I'm retarded and my dad's gay. Like, I just don't fucking care. And if you can, like, it's weird because actually what's interesting is like, even like old forms of like black humor, it's all about like your mama this, your mama that.
Yeah.
Like, there would be like games where they're like all about like fucking with each other. But it's just like our generation, and obviously the 60s and all that stuff, and like obviously bad things have happened, but it's like people really lost that joy in kind of like fucking with each other because it strikes too much of a nerve in them and they just can't get past it. And I've had some like S&M-y friendships where we just like said the worst shit possible to each other, and like nothing could fucking break me. You could call me like a tiny dick, fat, balding loser, like who like can't do shit, like mentally ill, like idiot that shits its pants and like is gay. Like I just don't fucking care.
You're like the Dark World Stavros, the Cumtown co-host. You're like the Dark World version of him, because he would be like, "Oh well, I'm really insecure about myself, and I don't want you to say mean things about me." And you're just like, "Fuck it, dude.
Yeah,
Come
but
at me."
That's because Beanstalk at any given time has like a lineup of 1,000 of Hollywood actresses from ages 13 to 94 in his DMs. Like,
dude, I mean,
him.
I do okay, man. Like people do bring this stuff up, you know, and I don't try to flaunt it. It just happens. Like I do okay in that department. Some people have been like, why? Or like, how does that happen? And it's just because like I'm like a generally interesting, fun person to be around. And when I was younger, I was like really traditionally like hot, like super hot, like hotter than you faggots, like way hotter, honestly. And I've just kept up that like energy. And it's like I've met people that like work out constantly and they're fucking like terrified of themselves.
Yeah, dude, working out is a fucking psyop.
I mean, I don't want to go all there, but it's like, you know, it's just like it's a fucking mentality. And that's like so like Amy Schumer to say. You know, it's like, it's so odd, like, it's such an obvious thing. But, like, if you just stop caring about, like, what people supposedly think is, like, hot, you really, like, attract a lot of people. I don't really know how it happens, but I've actually read every pickup artist book ever, and it's like, you know, it's like I'm, like, psychologically, like, really educated and kind of, like, how to wrangle in the pussy. So
yeah, Sigma grind set, dude.
Well, I'm just like a pimp, like, but I have romance in me as well, and you know, I ain't worried about that. Like Jay-Z said, you know what he said, you know, it ain't one.
Fuck you know? Yeah.
I'm not worried about that.
Yeah.
I love my mom, you know.
If I had one fucking weakness, which I don't have, but like. We'll say if I did, it would be that I'm too self-obsessed with like a one-dimensional version of how I look and present. Like I was in the gym 2.5 hours today trying to give myself see, the way I rationalize it is that I'm a counterintelligence agent.
Yeah, I need to be fit. People.
Exactly. So, you know, I need to glamour them a little bit. And then if anything goes bad, I need to be able to like karate chop their fucking necks off. But it is a little easy to get carried away with like the surface of who you are instead of just embracing the totality of who you are.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and this is getting into like probably something you wouldn't even want to get into, but like this is like the basis of like queer theory, you know what I mean? Like that like the idea of queerness is that like supposed notions of like beauty and gender conditioning, it's like completely just like a psyop. And like if you have like a decent personality and like talented, like you can find fun with people and you don't have to feel uncomfortable all the time. Like you don't have to fucking cover your man tits. Like just fucking get out there and like you'll get some head once in a while. You know, you may not get on GQ, but like who the fuck cares, man? You know, there's just people. There's like people that really just beat themselves up, and it's just I don't know what to say to them, man. You know, like fix that.
Fix that. Yeah, exactly. Get your life together, you fucking.
Yeah, I mean, I fluctuate in many different things, and yo, I give props to people that work out. Get hair extensions or hair implants or like butt lifts, or like what, dude, just do whatever you got to do. But just remember, like at the end of the day, when you're like fucking somebody or you're loving somebody, you're not fucking like making sure they have the best jawline. Like if that's really what you're doing, like you're probably like missing out on a pretty good time, you know?
Hey, fucking men.
True.
But yeah.
Any last comments, concerns? Do you want to
I mean, just fucking let me look. What's my name now? I just make sure you put this in the post too. Like, you know, I am nice dude who chills. Please follow me. I lost a good amount of followers because I'm way too based, but it didn't matter. I'm still about to sell out this book. Purely Instagram. Didn't need shit. You know, I'm just trying to grow. If you want to grow with me, follow me. I'll entertain you every fucking day. Get into my DMs. You got it, you know?
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
And other announcements. We got an essay. Ben finally contributed an essay to safety propaganda. That'll be published in the next couple days. I got an essay out in Numero Berlin magazine, which is fine, but the very based version of it, the shorter version of it, is on safety propaganda as well. We are the counteragency of the avant-garde. We are the greatest thinkers and artists of your generation. We're cholos, we're Jews, we're everything all at the same time, whatever you need us to be.
Swaggots. Base
This is, Beanstalk, just before we leave, tell the audience your favorite band and what about them made you gay.
My favorite band? I don't have a favorite band.
All right, the band you love that you always get me to listen to, and that we're gonna put in the show.
For a while, I was obsessed with this band, and not many people know who they are. And if you just listen to one song, you'd be like, "Why would you be obsessed with this?" But if you give them a full listen, all their albums, they're one of the most original bands I've ever heard. They freak people out until you get it. Dead Reptile Shrine, super cult, not on many platforms. I think they had a video of some like weird sacrifice on YouTube that they took down years ago. They were like, they pressed some records, just really out there shit. It sounds really tribal and like violent and like decadent and something else. It's definitely something else. It could be called black metal, but it's like that weird vein that's like weirdo black metal. And that's the only kind of black metal I really get into is like the weirdo shit. So
Dead Reptile Shrine, hit us up, collaborate with us. We will.
This is fire.
Yeah.
Listening to him.
Oh, sick. Yeah. All right, Beanstalk, thanks so much for coming on System of Systems. Buy his book, Make Me a Fucking Millionaire, and make Beanstalk a star so I can groom him into my little man bitch.
Yep. Thank you, spank you, and fucking crank my dick because I need a fucking wick to burn, bitch. Peace.